Hello everyone, this is Jeff Twardowski with You Be Successful. In this video, I will be showing you how to rename users in your Domino environment. We make a few assumptions. First, you are the Domino administrator for your environment. This includes having the HCL administrator client on your workstation and access to the organizational certifiers. You also have the privilege to rename users. Let's get started. Within the administrator client, make sure the administrative server is selected. Go to the People view. Let's rename Student 4. So how is this accomplished? Select the user to rename. Check which OU is used to create the user. In our case, user/UBS. During the rename process, a dialog box will pop up, possibly blocking our ability to see this information. On the right, open up Tools, select People, then select Rename. The Rename Selected Notes People dialog box is displayed. Before clicking the Change Common Name button, we have to decide how long we wish to honor the old name. Honored old names determines how long the old username will still be valid in our system. So why do we want that? Some employees have multiple workstations, a desktop at home, a desktop at work, a home computer, maybe additional laptops. We have to find the happy medium that allows the user to log into all their machines, but not take months to complete. We've all had that person who uses a desktop machine, but keeps a laptop in their filing cabinet for that one business trip a year. They don't test the laptop before leaving, but finds that nothing works properly when they're away from the office. The other fun fact about this situation is that when the person gets back, they will find a bunch of email they swear they deleted. It just came back from the dead. These old emails returning is caused by the deletion stub timing on the replica of their mail file. Most deletion stubs last for 30 days unless we make changes to the setting. Thus, the old emails that were on the laptop returns. Back to renaming the user. Is 3 weeks enough time for them to hit all their machines? If you're using the ID vault, it's not as big an issue because the user will get the updated ID from the vault when logging in. However, if you're not using the ID vault, then the timing can be critical. Once the name change has taken effect, they will no longer be able to access the server until they get the correct ID file from another machine. Let's stick with the default 21 days. Select Change Common Name. The Choose a Certifier dialog box is displayed. If the administrative server is incorrect, then select the server button and correct it. Make sure that the correct certifier is selected. Remember, the certifier has to match the user's certifier. If the certifier ID is incorrect, then find the correct certifier. Select and click Open. If your environment is using the certificate authority process, you may use it instead. Select OK. Type in the password. Here's an opportunity to change the expiration date of the user ID. Notice that the default is 2 years from today's date. We will just leave it as is. Select OK. In the Rename Person dialog box, we can change the user's first name, middle name, last name, short name, and internet address. If Windows Active Directory is connected to the Domino environment, we can check this box to have the rename happen in both systems. Change the user from Student 4 to John Doe. Change the short name also. We have to keep our users unique in our system. The qualifying organizational unit is added to the user's name to keep the names unique. For example, if our company has 2 John Does, one in sales and one in marketing, we can add these qualifying organizational units to the name so that both users are unique in the system. This user works in the sales department. We can add sales as an organizational unit to their name so they become John Doe Sales Users UBS. This feature comes in handy when someone sends an email to John Doe, thus prompting to determine the correct one. The user can select the correct John Doe and send the message knowing it's going to the right person. Select OK. The rename is in the system and it's successful. If we had any failures, skips, or cancels, we would see them here. If we had selected more than one user, we would have looped through the Rename Person dialog box, changing everyone's names until we were completed. Follow this process for renaming users. Do not edit the document and change the username directly, because it will not change the user's ID file or the name in other places that it's stored in the system. Why do we follow this process? Domino is a relatively complex system. As an administrator, the rename process generates a lot of work. Why do all this work if we can utilize a process in the system called Administration Process, or Admin P for short? So let's take a look at the administrative process and what it will do for us. This is a simplified look at the Admin P process because I'm hoping to create a video with greater detail. The administration process consists of 2 components: the Administration Request Database, or admin4.nsf, and the Admin Process Task. The database collects all the requests that the task has to run on the server. These 2 elements work together, allowing the rename to process correctly. First, initiate a user rename on the Domino server for Student 4. The wizard opens the database and added the information to process the rename and called it Initiate Rename a Domino Directory. Let's look at help to see the process. The first step is to initiate rename of Domino directory. Step 2 is to rename the person in the Domino directory. Here are all the steps that the Domino server will perform for us. Rename person documents, rename unread lists, change access control lists, change design elements, update the user's free time entries, update the calendar entries in their mail files, change the reader and author fields. Renaming users can take a significant amount of time to make sure everything is correct. To prevent interfering with the rename, I would not rename this user for a month after the process has started. If we as administrators had to perform all the steps at the right time in the correct order, making sure we didn't miss anything, the Domino administrator job would be very tedious. This is one of the powers of Domino. Let's go back and see if the rename has taken effect. We can see that step 2 has been completed. If the rename has not processed on your system, give it some time. Many factors can impact the speed of the system. hardware such as hard drive speed or system power, and the work to be performed, such as the number of tasks to be processed and the load on the system, can impact how quickly the rename will take effect. Last additional note, the rename process doesn't update the name on the mail file. You will have to do this manually if it's required. Click to open the person document. Notice that the mail file name remains Student 4. Go to Files, find Student 4. Notice the title is still Student 4. Open the Student 4 database. Select File, Application, Properties. Here the title is still Student 4. We change it to John Doe. Refresh the view by pressing F9. Find John Doe's mail file. Notice that the title of the database has been changed. However, the actual file name remains Student 4. There is talk of having the admin P process take care of this in the future. This is how we rename a user in the Domino environment.